What's up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Hope you guys are all doing well. Appreciate everybody that's been joining us on these live streams. Another wild show last night, another wild chat. Tyson will be live tonight. I'll be live tomorrow with Jay and Alex breaking down all the Super Bowl props and everything out there. This video is going to be a little bit different, talking about Trey Lance, because I cannot do 6 or 7 more weeks of Deshaun Watson rumors, let alone 6 or 7 months if the Texans decide to drag this thing out and call his bluff. And again, I am by no means a draft expert. I like to watch a little bit of film, but I'm by no means an expert. Typically, this time of year, I tend to read more of what the experts are saying, and then start to go into the film a little bit later and see if it matches the eye test as far as what everybody else is saying. So Trey Lance is interesting, man. His stats obviously jump out at you. 66.9% completion percentage, 28 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 1,100 rushing yards. And again, this was back in 2019. He only played one game this past year due to COVID. North Dakota State didn't really have a season. And their last two quarterbacks, they were both drafted in the NFL, Carson Wentz and Easton Stick. The 5 areas that Daniel Jeremiah talked about in this article, and again, if you guys want to read it, it's from July 15th. I think if you just Google Trey Lance scouting report, it's one of the first ones that pops up. The 5 areas that he talks about, as far as his evaluation goes: poise, accuracy, decision-making, playmaking ability, and toughness. And he said that Lance was off the charts on all of these. And when you start watching some of the highlights from the early film, it's hard to argue it. As far as his poise goes, again, he's calm. He can move around the pocket, avoids pressure, keeps his eyes downfield. He's able to get to his second and third reads, which is not something that every young quarterback can do. His accuracy, 67% completion percentage, like I mentioned, hard to argue that. He's got great ball placement, anticipation. Jeremiah mentions, his ability to fit the ball over linebackers under safeties, as well as complete those bucket throws, something that Russell Wilson's great at, where you just kind of lob it over the top into a tight window, something he could do. Decision making, hard to argue again, 28 touchdowns, no interceptions. You would think, again, overly cautious, but no, Jeremiah mentioned he was more selectively aggressive, which I think is a good thing. He's not afraid to let it rip when the big play is there and can still fit it into those tight windows. As far as his playmaking ability, he can excel on design runs, quarterback options and things like that. He's athletic. He's got the big arm, can make plays in and out of the pocket. And then his toughness, he doesn't shy away from contact. He can take hits. He's got some plays where he's running over safeties and, fighting for first downs with offensive linemen pushing him forward. So the kid's tough as hell. He seems well liked, well respected. Towards the end, Jeremiah makes a comparison to Andrew Luck as far as his maturity goes, being fearless but not reckless. And saying really that he's more polished than he should be, given his limited playing time and only being a one-year starter. So again, some of the things that he can improve upon, yes, he's a little bit raw. Mechanics and footwork could use a little bit of work, but I think that's true for most young quarterbacks. But as far as his natural ability goes, if this kid somehow finds a way to shake down to, the 23rd pick and the Jets can get him with their second first rounder, or if they do trade down from number two, acquire some extra picks, and he's sitting there, somewhere in the teens, it might be tough to pass up on him if he really, dominates. I know there's not going to be a real combine this year, but, if he dominates his pro day, aces the interview, and they're really sold on him, it might be too hard to pass up. So a lot of things to still figure out from now until then. But I'm excited to see this kid because, all the talk right now is about Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. And I think this kid could end up surprising a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. I'll start to watch a little bit more film and talk to you guys tomorrow night.